Thank you, and welcome to the final straits of this evening's sessions. Thank you all for attending. It's been a long day for everybody. I'm Greg Chu, and I'm from QPQ. QPQ stands for quid pro quo, this for that. So we talk about scaling blockchain. People have been talking about this for a very long time. It still hasn't happened. We've been talking about it since 2014, how there'll be new protocols that will enable scaling of blockchain to occur, but yet we're still stuck in a true blockchain sense at 19 transactions per second. We have layer 2s that are alleging to give us scalability, but at the cost of re-centralization. So we reach this point where I have to ask, does anybody else in the room feel the anger that I feel that the summit of our ambitions seems to be a GIF on Web3? That the architecture, the infrastructure that should be enabling humanity to move into a whole new era of how we conduct ourselves, that allows us to add value to common infrastructure, instead does this, and that's it. Stand up if you agree. Anybody here find that same tension, anger, that this is the best we can do? Because for me, it's a disgrace. This technology has the ability to set the world free, to change the way that we do everything and how we conduct ourselves in every kind of circumstance you can think of, from private information through to economic information. Sorry, forgive me, wrong way. And what we have at the moment is a whole series of systems that expect us to make this kind of leap. We have silos upon silos, and we actually celebrate the idea that the way that you value a particular protocol is by how much value has been locked in that protocol. Where on earth does that fit into the idea of creating a single substrate, a digital substrate that we can all transact upon? How does that work? Why are we talking about TVL when we should be talking about transforming lives? Transforming opportunity for people, allowing those without to begin to find a way forward, flattening the earth, creating opportunity for all, and equality of opportunity that we talk about, but it doesn't exist. This is what we have at the moment. We have silo upon silo. We have great big chasms that we're expecting people to faithfully leap across in the belief that all will be well, and yet we see repeatedly, time and time again, all is not well. This is what we need to get to. Does anyone here know what that is? Anyone? Correct. It's the internet. It's a picture of the internet. And the thing about the internet is we take it for granted to such an extent that if a web page doesn't load in 3 seconds flat, we close the page down. This is the standard that we expect in a Web 2 context. So how on earth is it okay in a Web 2 context to expect this? This is the standard. We need to get to the point where the infrastructure for Web 3, that is distributed ledger technology, properly done, which achieves the base target of distributed ledgers, which is to be able to trust the message, not the messenger. The purpose of the technology is to allow us to establish consensus at speed, at scale, and to be able to trust it, so that we can trust that message, not the messenger. This is what we have to get to. Millions, billions of transactions per second, reliably, cheaply, faultlessly, not struggling to have uptime, not pretending to be a functioning system, not telling us that 19 transactions per second is sufficient to run the commercial infrastructure of the world. Oh, but you use a level 2. Yes, you re-centralize. Well done. So we've come to tell you a different story. Amongst all the doom and gloom that people are talking about in the context of crypto values falling, I'm here to say, well, that's actually good news, because now the hot air is leaving the room. We're just emerging. This is our second conference. The first was a couple of weeks ago, as we announced 1DLT, an interoperability solution that actually brings the networks together. And we're hearing all the time about real projects trying to do real things. They're not writing white papers that basically amount to number go up and to the moon. They're actually trying to figure out how to solve a problem, a real world problem that requires that application of something that can verify a truth, that a thing has happened. So how do you get to interoperability, and how is it different from interconnectivity? Well, think of it like this. Interconnectivity is a bridge from me to you. That's an interconnection, okay? And something can pass back and forth across that bridge. And very often the way that's done in the context of the crypto universe is that you come to me with your token, you buy my dollar to cross my bridge, and you come out the other side into another pool. What we're talking about is interoperability. So if you think about all the protocols, like a Lego box, and when you open up the Lego box, there's an instruction as to how you build that specific thing, that particular design. But what happens if you want the house over here to swap the roof with the house over here because you prefer it? That's a better one for your purposes. You can't do it, not in the way things work at the moment. So what we did was we actually disassembled the pieces. We made it possible to take the transaction, to set everything up on an EVM as normal, but then to pull in consensus from other platforms, from other public protocols like Hedera, Algorand, Silica, Near. All these things allow us to see the scalability that is necessary, and we're just starting at that. This is the scalability, the reliability, the throughput that is necessary to make the dreams that we've all shared. We've all come here believing that there is a better future possible. And that door is now open. This is a zero layer of interoperability that allows any developer in this room to come forward and say, I want to build X. Use simplistic Solidity, use your EVM, use the cloud infrastructure we provide as a package, and bring in the consensus from all the other layers. What do you end up with? Real interoperability. And that is actually what the term means. It doesn't mean a series of bridges. It means that the pieces become interoperable, that you can use the best features from each protocol to best advantage. And that's what the news we've come to bring you today. So, any questions? No one have any questions at all? Okay. Sorry about that. I figured there might be a few.
Woo. Any questions? No? Yes? Go ahead.
Hi. What do you think about blockchains like Polkadot or Cosmos that are trying to create this interoperability?
They aren't really achieving the same object aim that we are. We're actually breaking down the component parts to allow you to put the pieces together, and you always have consensus. So what they effectively do is they create sidechains, which are in effect a level 2, a layer 2. So you're back to breaking that rule that you're not actually trusting the messenger, or the message, you're trusting the messenger again. And that's the issue. We don't think that you need to go down that route. We think that you can do it like this. You can break down the component parts, and you can take the best pieces from each to give you that capacity, that throughput, that reliability, and bring the cost down to fractions of a cent.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Any other questions?
Okay, well, thank you very much. We're outside on the stand. Do please come by and talk to us. If
there is a question. Okay, quick one. Where are we? Who was it? There. Hey, good to see you.
Hi, how are you able to provide such interoperability in comparison to the other existing protocols, so for example, layer 2?
Because we separated out the transaction from the consensus, we separate out the services from the consensus. So you can draw services from different protocols. You can draw, we'll have other types of programmability in there as well in the future. So right now it's an EVM because that's what most people are using. But we will integrate more. I think we should be about 8 protocols by the end of this year, early next. Okay, thank you all very much. Please do come by and see us. We're outside in the main atrium. And thank you for your time.